welcome back to Georgeonsports with me, your host, George. And on today's episode, I'm really excited to say that we have Eli Rodgers, former NFL wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers, now wide receiver with the Orlando Guardians. First and foremost, Eli, thank you for coming on the show. I know you've got a lot going on, especially with training camp, but how are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm great, man. I feel good. I'm in great spirits, man. It feels good.
I love to hear that. We're going to get straight into it, and I want to talk about your footballing background. So we're going to start with high school at Miami Northwestern, college at Louisville Cardinals, where you were third in high school history in receptions and sixth all-time in receiving yards. NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers, going as an undrafted free agent, catching your first career touchdown from the man who's going to have the gold jacket, Big Ben. Why football? What drove you to go and play football? I mean, there's so many sports in the States. What is it about the American football that attracted you to want to play?
Well, actually, football chose me. When I was a kid, you know what I mean? I started out playing when I was 6 years old, and I was just pretty good at it. You know what I mean? And
no lies.
It just followed me, man. And, you know, I was fortunate and blessed enough to make it to the highest level of football and play at a high level. So, you know, I'm just thankful for that.
Yeah, as well. I mean, people will know that the ratio of people who make it from college to the NFL is a ridiculously small amount,
yes,
a small number. So to be able to actually play through high school, make it to college, and then make it to the NFL on a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers is a feat in its own. So obviously you played with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have to touch on the fact that you played with Big Ben. Mm-hmm. What was it like playing with someone of that caliber?
Man, it was amazing. I can't really put it in words. He taught me a lot. Great arm. He's a great guy. You know what I mean? Really good dude. And it was just a blessing, man, just to be able to play with a Hall of Fame quarterback. You know, and it was even more of a blessing for him to view me as, you know, a really good slot receiver and potentially one of the best he'd play with.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember watching you play as well, thinking this guy's dope, man. This guy in the slot, this is a guy you don't need to be watching. But obviously, you play with the Steelers. Injuries are part of the game. I played for 11 years myself here in the UK, so I know how it feels. Obviously, it's very amateur over here compared to the big time leagues out there. But if we look at 2020 onwards, where you played for a number of different teams, so the XFL when it first came around for the DC Defenders. And then you got the CFL as well, the USFL, and then obviously now with the Orlando Guardians. What has that journey been like, if you were to summarize from college to high school to the NFL and now playing in the XFL? The football journey just continues.
Yeah, it's been a journey, just like you said, man. Life is a journey. And I'm just thankful to be able to live this journey in such a interesting way. It's been very interesting because of where I come from, first off, and then, you know, I had got away from football. Well, not really mentally, I didn't get away from it, but physically I was away from it. You know, last year I was applying to be a firefighter for the Houston Fire Department. So I was in a fire academy, and, you know, and in the end, football chose me again. So, you know, it's really amazing, man. And I would say out there, go for what you love, and don't be afraid to take chances, because life is all about chances. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny. I've spoken to a few different people in the league now, whether it be players or media personnel or people within organizations. And a lot of them have the same message in terms of taking risks, because if you don't take that risk, you never know what's on the other side of that door. You know, if you stay within that box, you got no idea what you can unlock on the other side. So it's interesting to hear you say that, because it seems like it's something that a lot of successful people push, because again, you never know what the unknown holds. But here's a question. If not football, what other sport would you have turned your hand to, or what other sport do you think would have chosen you, in your words?
That's hard to say, because football is just so cloudy. I mean, so much in my mind. It's like maybe track or something like that, or I might not have been a football player. Maybe I would have been a astrophysicist or
Yeah,
some
absolutely.
crazy thing like that. But yeah.
Is there a particular moment from your football playing days, whether it be high school, college, NFL, CFL? Is there a particular memory you have that burns bright in your memory that you always remember, be it a play, a tackle, a hit, something that shines out to you?
I have a couple, and I have. Do I have to choose one, or
You can go as many as you want.
I'll choose one, just one play that let me know that I could be great on this level. Was the fourth quarter against the Bengals, 2017. We were down, and I scored the go-ahead touchdown to put us ahead that game. And that was a moment where it just kind of hit me like, I'm supposed to be here. This is what, I am great. You know what I mean? That was a crucial moment, and I came through for the team.
Yeah. So a bit more on the XFL. So I actually thought the X standard for Extra Fun League, and I say that because, I genuinely thought that was the case, and I say that because obviously we've got Dwayne Johnson who's heading it up, and Danny Garcia, and some other names too. But this league is supposed to be slightly more fun than the NFL, slightly more relaxed, if you like to say. Although personally, and I think you'll agree, anyone who's played the sport at whatever level, if it's a practice game, I'm going hard. If it's training, I'm going hard. So I don't know about relaxed, but there are some differences in the game compared to the XFL and the NFL, whether it be, I think field goals are different, the timing on the clock timing is different. What are some of the main differences for people who haven't been exposed to XFL before? Obviously, you've played in the league before. What are some of the differences that fans can expect watching the XFL when it kicks off a week after the Super Bowl?
Well, first off, the XFL has been around for a long time and produced really good guys that actually went on to become greats in the NFL. When I was a kid, it was called the Extreme League or something like that, So
that's it. It was, yeah.
It's been around, but as far as the difference, well, the kickoff, we're only 5 yards apart on kickoff, so it's more opportunity for return and excitement in that regard. Punting, the gunners, the guys running downfield, they can't leave until the ball is kicked. So there's another difference. And also you get 2-point and 3-point opportunities, if I'm not mistaken, after you score a touchdown. So it's pretty exciting.
And I think you get the option as well on fourth down to either go for it on a particular, I think fourth and 15 or 4th and 20, I think, or you can go for the field goal. I think, again, I may be wrong, but I think I did read that somewhere there's an option to do that on fourth down. I suppose that the NFL season winds down with the big game, that's the Super Bowl, and then they want to carry it on. We don't want it. Obviously the off season can be quite quiet until things start happening. You have training camp, and you got the combine and the draft. So they described this league as a more interactive league for the fans for some of the points that you mentioned, the scoring. They've got the instant replay. Some of the names that I've seen they're going to be commentating are great names that people want to listen to. So, and again, it's been around for a while. This isn't the first rodeo. So training camp, what kind of, have you noticed any particular differences in training camp compared to the NFL or the CFL and some other places that you've been to the XFL?
Not really. Not really. It's a great talent. We're all professionals out there. You got guys that are hungry to put everything together and become a team, and to be great on offense, be great on defense. It's a high energy, high competitiveness, and we have a great coach in Terrell Buckley, who's doing a great job
Absolutely.
Of putting everything together and guiding us in the right direction to be great. So it's not really a big difference as far as training camp is concerned.
Okay. And on the note of talking about head coach and how everyone's together, your first game is away to the Houston Roughnecks. How do you lot feel about that game coming up? Do you feel like you can get that W?
Absolutely. It's going to take hard work, and right now we're only 3 days into having pads on. So there's still some time to, put everything together and get down, the actual team. We got to make cuts and things of that nature. But, we look forward to winning and winning in fashion. You know what I mean? So, it'll be exciting.
Yeah, for sure. I think it definitely is. The way they've built up the hype, the media I've been covering, I've been looking at what they've been putting out, the promotion. It looks. I've seen the kit reveal with the green. You guys got the green and the black, the green and the white. I think it is. Mm-hmm. I've been taking note, and it looks good. So here's a question for you. Coming from the, obviously you've been in the NFL, you know what it takes to get to the league. You've been in the league, you've experienced it, the highs, the lows. Mm-hmm. Now that you're in the XFL and have been before, you mentioned it earlier. There are some guys who view this as an opportunity to make it to the NFL. Let's look at PJ Walker, who was a quarterback, I believe, for the Houston Roughnecks, who obviously went on to play for Carolina Panthers and did some really good things there. Some really good things.
Yes, sir.
Would you say it's fair to say that yourself? There are some guys in the league like Vic Beasley, Martavius Bryant, who was obviously a receiver with the Steelers too. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's fair to say that guys in the XFL who don't have the experience that you have look up to you guys as like the role models, come to you guys for the advice and, for the knowledge of what it takes to make the next step? And if that is the case, what kind of advice do you think you'd be giving these guys?
Well, yeah, I've definitely been more of a mentor. I guess you could say that word. I don't really like to say that word, but a mentor or a guide to the younger guys on what it takes. Just letting them know it takes hard work, putting the extra hours in, knowing your job, knowing a guy next to you job, which makes it easier to communicate to each other, and having the right mental attitude, and just giving them little tricks of the trade as far as a receiver is concerned. Just teaching them tricks of the trade and things like that.
Yeah. So obviously we're talking about the XFL, we're talking about American football as a whole, as a sport. It would be wrong for me to not ask you about the Super Bowl and who you think is going to get this W. There's no way I can't ask you, obviously, for obvious reasons. The teams that are going into the divisional round now. I know for a fact you've been looking at the scores, you've been watching some of the games and watching the highlights. There's no way you haven't. Who's going to win the Super Bowl this year and why?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. You got the Buffalo Bills. You got the Philadelphia Eagles. Those probably are, my top two teams to go and, do some great things in the Super Bowl. But you never know, man. In the NFL, it's a week-to-week thing, and you got to come out and play at your top, at your best every week, or you'll lose. You know what I mean? Because the best team wins that night. So it's interesting to see it unfold, and I will be watching.
No doubt. So is that something that you guys will do as a team, or will that be something you do in your own time when you're not at training camp?
Well, the Super Bowl probably will be an event where we will have the opportunity to watch it together. Some guys may watch it, some guys may not. But, ultimately, we are focused on training camp and putting this thing together here to be great in this season. But the Super Bowl is an event where, football athletes going to watch.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. So you've obviously, before I let you go, you've wide receiver for the Broncos, Cody. What is it like? Obviously, he is on the team with you as well. What is it like having, I guess, someone who's been there and done that, knows what it takes being in the NFL, having him alongside you, and there are some other names in the league too who are obviously as part of the Orlando Guardians. Mm-hmm. Does that help in any way, having someone who's been there and done it, to have him at the Guardians with you, and you guys, like you said, you don't want to use the word mentor, but you guys kind of take that kind of role because you know what it takes. You've done the work, you've grinded, you've got the work ethic, you've got the mental state too. Mm-hmm. Does that help, having someone like that beside you?
Absolutely. And Cody has, a Super Bowl under his belt. So It definitely helps, man. Cody is a great guy, first off, a great man, and an awesome athlete, and he's a professional. So, it really helps me individually just seeing him, every day come out and, give it his best every day. And both of us were in the league. So it helps the team as well to see how to be professionals, how to come out and work. And, and we both are trying to be leaders and, guide the offense in the right direction as far as what it takes to be a dominant offense.
Absolutely. And on that note, for anyone who's watching this who's aspiring to become a wide receiver, aspiring to play in the CFL, XFL, NFL, anywhere for that matter, what would your message to them be?
Hard work pays off. It gets to a point where everybody is good, but what separates you? What makes you unique as a player? Is it your mental? Is it your quickness? Is it your speed? What is it that make you great? And whatever it is that make you great, be great at that. That's what I would say. And, always keep a positive attitude and believe in something greater than yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And with that, that brings us to the end of the brief show. I wanted to keep it brief. I didn't want to keep it for too long, but I do thank you for joining because obviously I know you got a lot going on right now. To the viewers, thank you for watching and hopefully you enjoyed that one as much as I have. It's not every day you get to speak to an NFL player, It's not, it doesn't happen that often, so I'm really grateful that you came on the show. Keep it locked. The XFL is going to kick off a week after the Super Bowl on February the 18th. Eli here for the Orlando Guardians will be taking on the Houston Roughnecks away from home. Make sure you stay locked in. Have a look at the XFL across all socials, but of course, go subscribe to the Orlando Guardians too. Until next time, I've been George from George on Sports with the NFL legend himself, Eli Rodgers, and thank you for watching.
Peace.